But it doesn't make sense. You can't deny that someone turned that knob. And once the safety lock was released, I'm sure the pad must have went somewhere. If we chase down the truth of this issue, we just might find where the killer escaped to. Ah! You're sure it must have went somewhere, we just might find out? Your arguments are nothing but conjecture, bluffing, and wishful thinking. Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is. Or are you not man enough to, boy? Gah! Haha, talk about hitting below the belt. Youngins these days. I don't understand it. I'm sure Director Cosmo must have moved to the launch pad. That was definitely turned after he came to the launch. But the launch pad is right where it's supposed to be. Wait a minute, maybe I have it all backwards. Not to move the launch pad away, but to move it back. Bring it back to where it was supposed to be. Yes, I knew it. What are you blathering about? What if the launch pad was at the launch site before the incident? And then after the incident, Director Cosmos moved it back to its usual spot. All they had to do was turn the knob to call the launch pad back. And it would be right where the police found it. Duh! You made him sigh like Mr. Starbuck. Was that I said really that off base? It pains me to have to explain how wrong your own logic is to you. However, our great liar turned the knob only after he discovered the crimes. Indeed, the pad existed beyond the lounge when our Astro Ones made their escape. The fact has been recorded for posterity on the film as proof. Oh, right. So to reiterate, stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is. Get a grip, Mr. Wright, and focus. We know the launch pad must have been moved, but our deductions and actual facts of the case are a direct contradiction to each other. Well, maybe the two astronauts never actually boarded the rocket. This footage could be fake, taken with body doubles at the incident or something. On second thought, that's too far-fetched, even for me. Never actually boarded the rocket. Hey, wait a minute, maybe, just maybe, Prosecutor Blackwell, what if I told you that the two astronauts never set foot inside the launch pad area, but instead went into another place? The launch pad went back, it was not from launch site, but from another place. Cut the existential bull or I'll cut you. Mr. Wright, you'll explain yourself at once. I know I'm right. It was all the other way around from the beginning. Very well, Your Honor, let me explain. Because he wanted to trap the true killer. Because he wanted to hide Launchpad 1. Well, I suppose he did move it. Where in the world would he hide it? An enormous launchpad like that? I highly doubt it could truly be hidden. Oh, behind something maybe? Oh my gosh. Because he wanted to switch it with some other place. Or would he possibly have switched the launchpad with? Oh, you'd be surprised, Joe. All it takes is a little thinking outside the box, and the answer becomes clear as day.
Take that!
Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum. In the past, the Space Museum used to be Launchpad 2. It has all the same features as Launchpad 1, and can even be moved to the launch site. Meaning the Space Museum and Launchpad 1 can also be switched with each other. You can't mean... The rocket the astronauts boarded was not the one in Launchpad 1. It was the one in the Space Museum. What? Boulder Dash. And yet, it's the only explanation that accounts for every riddle and inconsistency. This is how the Space Center was just before the incident. That's right, and with the two switched like this, the astronauts entered the Space Museum for the boarding lounge 1. This allowed the true killer to enter the launch pad 1 for the boarding launch 2. While on the rocket. Come to think that the door to the Space Museum for the boarding launch 2. Welcome, welcome! The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 AM to 7 PM. Exactly, anyone could pass through the door to the Space Museum. There's no fingerprint recognition system on that door. In other words, with the 2 launch pads switched like that, someone other than Mr. Starbuck could have easily planted that bomb. After setting the bomb on the rocket, the culprit snuck into the boarding line 1 and waited there concealed, in order to kill Mr. Terran when the 2 astronauts emerged from the Space Museum. Recall that Miss Blackwell, Mr. Starbuck, and the director all saw suspicious figures, who we can suppose after killing Mr. Terran, made their escape into the Space Museum. After that, Director Cosmo switched the 2 launch pads back, without realizing the killer was inside the Space Museum. The killer then left the Space Museum and made a clean get-up. No! Right, don't know. I see you know how to handle a sword and handle it with. Perhaps I should call you Swordmaster Bluff. I am a seasoned warrior who has cut down many silence. But unless you can prove your theory is no better than a regular. That's right. You have no proof I switched the launch pads. Somebody needs a better anger management. If the launch pads really were switched, there might be a record of it somewhere. At this point, launch pad 1 and the Space Museum were switched with each other. The recorder beyond the door should be the one that belongs to the Space Museum. Let's see, this is an image of the launch pad 1 corridor. Huh? There's that number on the floor. Well, what do you know? Looks like we have proof after all, Prosecutor Blackwell. Is this just another bluff? Oh, don't worry, it's all right here. Right in this footage. Proof that beyond this door is the corridor to the Space Museum. Very well then, answer this for me if you would.
Take that!
There's a 1 on the floor of the Launchpad 1 corridor. But take a look at the floor of the corridor in the security footage. You see the number on the floor behind the astronauts? It doesn't look like a 1, does it? That's because what you see is actually part of a 2. What? Why is it a 2 and not a 1? That's because the corridor you see in this one is to the Space Museum. And so that means the corridor in this footage was not filled with smoke. That's right, because the explosion didn't occur in the Space Museum. The explosion occurred in Launchpad 1, on the side opposite the Space Museum. And now that we know the 2 astronauts escaped from the Space Museum, the mystery from the previous trial of how they got down the ladder is cleared up. Miss Terry and Mr. Starbuck simply took the elevator from the upper level down to the middle level. Just incredible, the 2 launch pads were actually switched. Do you think someone would have noticed an event of this magnitude? Everyone was down in the basement shelter when the launch pad was swapped back. There's no way anyone could have known what was happening on the surface. No more lies, Director Cosmos. It's high time you told us the truth. My honor, my glory, everything is slipping away. Time to deploy my ultimate weapon. Galactic engine, ignition. Oh, it's gone haywire. It won't stop. My stars, my glory. No, not that way. Bailiff, on your steed and after that witness. I see we managed to retrieve you before you came to any bodily harm. Director Cosmos, do you admit you switched the launch pads?
Yeah, I admit it's true. I switched Launchpad 1 for the Space Museum.
It is good to hear words I can believe for a change. Before you do, Your Honor, two things. First, we don't know if Mr. Terran had prior knowledge of the switch. As for Mr. Starbuck, he was unaware of his surroundings thanks to his medication. Either way, Mr. Terran would have realized the instant he stepped into the Space Museum that it had been switched with Launchpad 1. So my first question is, if the Space Museum was perfectly fine, why did Mr. Terran feel the need to put on such a dramatic display? As for my second question, I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched to 2 launch pads to begin with.
Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast.
The director is terrified. He must have one heck of a reason for not wanting to explain why. Probably not a good idea to try to pry it out of him, huh?
Excuse me, but would you mind if I picked up my stars? Without my badge of rank, I'm nothing.
I don't see why not. Bailiff, help the director retrieve his stars.
It appears a possibility of a culprit other than the defendant has presented itself.
Mr. Starbuck, is there anything you wish to say?
I don't get it.
Don't get it? What don't you get?
Director, why did you do all that? From the very beginning, you never meant for the launch to go ahead, did you? You tricked us.
Mr. Starbuck.
Starbuck, my boy, I'm so sorry. I can't tell you the reason why. But I had to do it to protect the patient.
Director, will I ever get the chance to go into space again?
Who's that girl on the far right?
Yes, of course. I won't rest until that happens. I will get you into space again, my boy.
Did the dream is still alive?
Silence!
You're not going into space, Starbuck, but prison. I won't have it any other way. Why are you so hung up on him? Yes, I accept that the launch pads really were switched, and if there were a third person at the scene, I suppose they could have escaped. But I have yet to see proof of this third person's escape by the Space Museum.
Oh, that's a good point.
He's right, I don't have any proof. Starbuck, you will spill everything you know.
What? Me?
Where did you get those bombs? Tell me now. No, my blade shall feast on your blood.
God! If I'm going to die, I want to die in space.
I have to do something. Solomon Starbuck, prepare yourself. Ha ha ha! Now, you not violence is the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. That annoyingly cheerful laugh, it can be none other than Fulbright. Champion of Righteous, Bobby Fulbright here! In justice we trust! The Detective Fulbright? Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Lawyer. I hope I'm not too late. I don't believe we had an appointment. I tried to hurry, but I ended up helping a little old lady across the street. And then I had to break up a cat fight. I tell you, justice sure is a full-time job. Was it a fight between cats, or... Why are you here again? Because the defendant isn't the culprit, and I came to make sure that justice is served. I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Fulbright, I always thought you were a bit touched in that. But have you finally succumbed? Nope, but it looks like you've succumbed to this phantom of yours. Open your eyes and let the evidence of justice uncloud your judgment. What evidence? Come to think of it, he did say something about finding us some evidence. Thanks to you two, I feel a lot better now that I've been able to get that off my chest. I'm going to work extra hard to find that perfect piece of evidence for you. I didn't think he was serious, though. So what is it, detective? Is it something that will prove Mr. Starbuck innocent? It is indeed. I have a look at this. The lighter.
What's this, a lighter?
That's right, a lighter thought to have been used by the culprit, no less. The Space Museum's cleaning robot picked it up. It has the victim Clay Terran's blood along with the killer's fingerprints on it. What? Gah!
Order! Detective Fulbright, can I assume that the fingerprints don't belong to the defendant?
You bet, Mr. Starbuck is totally innocent. This is it. This is just what I needed. Your Honor, this is the site of evidence that supports the defense's earlier claim.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall where this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that after the killer murdered Mr. Terran, they escaped with the lighter in hand into the Space Museum, where they dropped it. The switching of the two launch pads occurred. Then finally, the killer left through the boarding lounge 2 and made their escape. Meanwhile, Mr. Starbuck was found in boarding lounge 1 after the murder, a fact that Director Cosmos has testified. Therefore, Mr. Starbuck could have possibly been the one to drop the lighter there. Ah, but the defendant had free reign of the area until Director Cosmos. Could he not have dropped the lighter in the space museum?
Objection!
You'd like that to be true, wouldn't you? But Director Cosmos testified that right after he saw the mysterious figure with the lighter, he went into the lounge and found the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. In other words, Mr. Starbuck wouldn't have had the time to double back to the museum. No, Prosecutor Blackwell, this lighter could only have been dropped by the real killer. Most importantly, Mr. Starbuck's fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the lighter. I think you understand what this means, don't you? This piece of evidence unequivocally proves that Mr. Starbuck wasn't the culprit. This does indeed appear to be decisive evidence that proves the defense's claims. As for the remote switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, we can assume it was planted by the killer and the unconscious Mr. Starbuck.
No, there must be some mistake.
Frankly, Prosecutor Blackwell, I've been worried about you. You've been chasing this phantom for 7 whole years. I understand your urgency because tomorrow...
Silence!
Fulbright, you promised never to speak of that. Huh? Tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Given the body of evidence, I think it's safe to say the defendant is innocent. In light of the fact that it was impossible for him to have committed the crime. A few unanswered questions remain. I look forward to seeing what you two uncover. But for now, this court finds the defendant Solomon Starbuck not guilty. That's it. We didn't even find the real killer. Yes, we did it, Mr. Wright. Looks like we pulled it off somehow. Huh? With some help from Detective Fulbright. Mr. Wright, Miss Sykes, thank you. And please thank Apollo for me, too. You all are the best. Oh, I wish we could tell Apollo about Mr. Starbuck's verdict right now. Yeah, me too, but that's going to have to wait. Now that a verdict has been reached, I'd like to bring today's trial to a close. Court is adjourned.
Objection!
It's too late to object, isn't it? It simply isn't possible. Something's wrong.
Prosecutor Blackwell, are you dissatisfied with the verdict?
Fulbright! What were the results of the fingerprint analysis for the lighter? Huh? The results? Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Well, I was in a hurry, you see, and then there was that cat fight, and well, I kind of got carried away when I heard the prince were Mr. Starbucks, so... You have yet to read it. Prosecutor Blackwell, can you read out who the prince belonged to? Upon thorough analysis, fingerprints. So it says in the report. What? What? Huh? Me?
Order, I say order. Miss Sykes, tell me you have an explanation for this.
We just finished proving that the letter could not only belong to the killer. So finding your prints on it can only lead us to one great conclusion. I don't know how they got on there, but I know I'm not the culprit. This can't be happening. We built up our argument piece by piece, and I don't think any of our reasoning was faulty. So how could it have led to this? God, what have I done? Please forgive me. I'm sorry.
Order! Detective Wright, stop your crying.
What in the world is happening here? It's like the world's gone mad.
Order! I will have order.
Confusion spiraled into utter chaos. After all we'd fought for, the truth had turned cruelly on us to accuse Athena of the crimes. Somewhere, somehow, everything had gone terribly wrong. We had stumbled over the edge of reason and into the jaws of a twisted darkness. That's the end? Turnabout for tomorrow. Alright, y'all. Well, we haven't saved. This is the last episode, it looks like. So, after that, we got one DLC episode. Yeah! So, we're almost done with this. Episode 5 and then episode 6, and we're done. Wow. After all this time. Well, I want to thank you guys for watching this session of Phoenix Wright's Dirty Dual Destinies. Stay tuned for more. We're going to be getting into this action like none other. So, thank you guys for watching. We got to touch the rest of your day. Stay tuned for more episodes.